not bring it to marriage and try to pack it there and make it look like a marriage thing. We think that that thing should be removed from there. They should take it elsewhere. Marriage should be for people who want to be responsible, people who want to be serious with this institution, people who want to pay the price of what it takes to have a good marriage. That's the first thing I want to say. Then, I want to say that two wrongs don't make a right. Already, people have decided to cohabit. Then now, you know, we again put them in the wrong place. I think it doesn't work. It's better for them to find another parking place for it. Then I also want to say something about the putting the Muslims out of this bill. I think if you look at the present Mohammedan Act, because there's an existing law right now which is being used, that law could actually be brought into the marriage and divorce bill, and it can work right there. Because, okay, let me correct this impression. People may think that there's actually no law right now, but there are actually laws, and they are good in principle. They are virtually good. It's only that there are certain small areas which need to be corrected. But the problem with this new entry of this incoming bills is that they have actually eroded some of the values which the old laws have. You know, for example, in the old law, it was very difficult to have divorce, which is good. We should make it very hard for a divorce to take place. But this one is so easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Describe for us from your understanding.
Well, you see, the present law, or the proposed law, does not allow for counseling, does not allow for cooling off period, and so on, which will allow.
Well, it gives you 2 years. The old one gives you 6 months. This one gives you 2 years. It's a better law, some people would say.
No. But you see, the reasons for marriage, or rather for divorce, are very, very fluid.
Well, but still, they give you from 6 months. They give you 2 years. That means they're walking in the right direction.
Yeah, but you see, they talk of irretrievable
breakdown.
Yes, breakdown, which really is very subjective. Anyway, in principle, we think there should be a
period. You think once married, that's it?
That should be
better
it.
For us.
Yes.
Some people think that's academic.
That's what. No. It's not academic.
A man might lose his.
A man
might run mad, is taken to Butavika for life.
Of course, that can be taken care of. But you see, and that's what I was telling you at the beginning, that the principle and the spirit of this marriage and divorce bill is not.
You don't trust the spirit.
Yeah.
They should have more counseling in it.
More counseling, not more counseling, but there should be more preparation. It does not help people
they
to
did
prepare.
In 2009, this is 2011.
No, preparation for marriage.
Yes.
You see, people rush into marriage but are not even prepared for marriage.
They should legislate dating.
Not that, but, you know.
No, it's dangerous. In the little time that we have.
Yeah. Okay, the issue is there's need for sensitizing people. People don't know, a lot of people don't know about marriage. That is where the effort should be. Rather than trying to legislate issues which people are not even aware of, people not even know much about. It's better to spend time and teach people and train people and sensitize people about how to make a marriage work, and then come with the bill, and people will appreciate it. But if you bring the bill and people are still, wondering what is marriage all about, or are still having old hangovers, then we are not going to solve this thing, and we're just going to continue in the vicious cycle.
Madam Biwaga, that sounds like a lot of sense, some people would say. Yeah. Sensitize the people, like they are planning to do patriotism classes, talk to people about marriage, the age-old institution.
Yes, thank you. Sensitization is really critical. However, the challenge is how many people enforcing that. Because we go to these communities, we sensitize them. How many people really pick up? How many people are interested? You may be speaking to the converted. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't sensitize. Yes, let's sensitize people about the advantages and the disadvantages of cohabitation and of marriage. But ensuring that these people actually formalize these marriages or respect what they have been told or listen or put that in practice is difficult. Because you're not going to go house by house like a census asking, are you married? If you're not, please go and formalize. No, you will not. You see that is a challenge.
Messages on radio, newspapers, and seminars.
Those messages have been passed, including through his network, very many. organizations have passed on, even in the churches. Even these people who cohabit go to these churches and they listen to what the preachers and sheikhs preach out. But the issue is implementation. It's at a personal level, because we have found people who have met each other for a week, got married, and the marriage has worked. We have had people who have dated for 10 years, got married, and within 3 months they have split.
Right.
Secondly, I would like to respond to the issue of using other laws to cater for the contributions made by the parties in this relationship for the sake of the cohabitees. You know, at the beginning it's all rosy and good, in that you're not even going to think that when I get this money, let me secure this. Because and most of the times at the dissolution of these relationships, people even don't have proof of properties that they have bought or how they have contributed, because people believe that it will last. They believe in the goodness of it. But the fact in the eventuality that it does not, we are not prophets of doom that it's always going to end. No, but just in case it ends.
Right.
What happens thereafter? How should this situation be handled? And if it lasts, so much the better.
The bill when they separate.
So when you look at issues
equally.
Yeah, when you look at issues like using the land law, the land law is specific to land. What about the properties they have acquired together that is not land or contract? There is no man you're going to come to and you say, let's enter into a contract. That's why prenuptials in Uganda are not common, because it's as if we're entering into this contract. This is that for 5 years and then that's it. There is no one going to come to you that let's enter into this contract, my thing is mine, because it's always ours, we, because they believe. But just in case it does, we cannot force people to stay together. Because we have seen these cases, a man says, I am fed up of this woman, you go, the woman insists, you go, the woman insists, you go, and women have been murdered. Even the men themselves. A woman will tell you, I am fed up, I no longer love you, I don't want you. You continue stalking, or you continue following, and something else will happen. We need to respect the fact that when people are fed up of each other, or if it has refused to work,
so you work out a model for them to exit.
Let it be.
All right. Let's hear from you, Berna, about some of these places where they conduct marriages from. Right now, it's only a few mosques, churches, Hindu places.
Yes.
And the myth or the general information that many born-again marriages have been declared null and void because the places were not gazetted in the first place.
Yes, that's true. Maybe before I go to that, I would like to respond to Mr. Langa's question about bringing back the old laws, the Mohammedans law, bring it back because it had some good principles. True, some were good, but some were terrible. For example, the age of consent. In that law, it was there. It was shaky. It was 16, 14, meaning even a 12-year-old can be married off. And you very well know that the Constitution talks about 18. The 18. So that is why we're saying no. We need to change that.
So the law says 18.
The law says 18, and that is why actually out of practice, even Muslims have adopted that. Though there are some marriages in some communities that actually carry on, which we also try to talk to and sensitize. But
the Muslims normally say 16.
Yes, 16. Right. As long as you attain puberty. Puberty means you start and you've started your menses. Right. Then you're eligible to get married. However, they've also realized their circumstances. I mean, there are negative impacts on a child who's married off at a tender age. So that's why
the mind is not ready. Really,
it's not ready. Even the body, the mind is not ready. And we are looking at a relationship which is consensual. Someone has to consent. Someone has to enter it at their own free will. And they need to understand what Mr. Langa is advocating for. We totally agree with him. They need to understand that this is not a joke. This is not a contract. It's not an ordinary you walk into and walk out. No. They need to understand, what is this marriage going to be like? Why am I getting married to Mr. for example, Edmond? Yes. Why did your wife get married to you? It's not about only that, oh, he's rich, he has a good voice. It's not about physical features, but it's that internal. So what are we looking at? We are looking at the different types of marriages. That is civil, Christian, customary, Baha'i, and Hindu. Now, all these have places where they celebrate. We call it celebration, where the function takes place, where you agree to one another to get married before God. Now, for civil, it's in at Amamo House. Let me be specific. Amamo House.
Or in the district
registrar's office, countrywide. But in Kampala, it's Amamo House. There, the major, actually, all the essential requirements for all these marriages, you have to be 18.
Yes.
You must have consented.
Right.
You must not be related to each other. For example, I'm your niece, cousin. Or I'm your cousin. You know, that kind of where there is some blood relationship. Then it must be between a man and a woman.
Really?
Yes.
Some men grow long hair and they begin to think they're actually women.
Still, you know what determines what
they have no breasts.
You know how you can prove that you're a man. But anyway,
they grow long hair.
yeah, they might be long, but
they begin to walk in a certain way.
But there's still an issue. But basically, that is what we look at. Those are the basic requirements. And then in addition to that, where are they celebrated from? We have the civil. I've talked about the district registrar. Then church marriages, of course, it's in a church. Then for the born-again Christians, with due respect, there are those who just start. I've been, with due respect, honestly, God has sent me a message and I have to start a church. And then that church is someone God has spoken to me. I dreamt, that's what some, I'm not saying all of them are fraudsters, but they are
recognizing brief.
Yes, they
recognize a place.
That place, it has to be
physical license.
Yes. Then in addition to Hindu, all the places of celebration.
Brick and mortar place.
Yes. Even though it is Rubaga Cathedral, even though it is Christ the King, you need to be recognized. However, the person who celebrates the marriage also needs to get a license. However, that license is usually in the church system. It's a church administration.
It's to the church.
It's pegged to the church.
Right.
Though the church has to notify the ministry that, oh, by the way, these are the people. This is the list of people who have been trained, because they are the ones who actually counsel the couple before they get married.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that is one ground that we are really emphasizing on, because people going to, out of excitement, they're going to other churches, and you're like, hello, where is this marriage? And then when it comes to the breakdown of the marriage, then you tell some, upon separation, you're telling them, oh, by the way, you're not legally married. And they're like, no, it was pastor, the Lord spoke to pastor so and so, and so that is what we are trying to prevent. Okay. These shoddy marriages that happen in the dark.
All right, let's talk very briefly about widow inheritance. A man, his brother dies, and he looks after the family with one heart, and then he thinks the woman has other needs, so he gets him for a second wife.
Now, thank you. Actually, there are two issues.
Very briefly, before we hear from the listeners.
Now, widow inheritance is not allowed. Remember, previously, customary law say the Customary and Regulations, Registration of Customary Marriages Act, the current existing law, said that, oh, by the way, as long as someone has said they're interested in you, whether your late brother's wife or your late, there's that relationship that is already existing. You're already a member of the family as a woman. Now, it was allowed. So we said no, because there's also HIV. There's HIV.
Well, they could go for a test.
They could go for a test, and actually,
supposing that's not an issue.
If it's not an issue, then widow inheritance was more of, oh, by the way, I'm inheriting, in addition to the property of my brother, I'm inheriting this human being. Yeah. But in that time, that human being is no longer a human being. She's regarded as property. When you inherit something, you're inheriting property.
Well, but it might even be emotional. You provide for your brother's family, you take the children to school, university.
Yes, you
even
did.
The wife has good dresses, but the only thing missing is the heart.
The heart.
So let me provide this as well.
No, you can, but at the end of the day, we said that it has to be consensual.
All right, let's hear from you, listeners. This is Spectrum on Radio 1, talking marriage night. Unpacking the marriage and divorce bill. What are the different forms of marriage recognized under this bill? You can call in now. Our numbers 0414-348-111, 0312-260-390, 0312-261-390. When you call in, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Spectrum, hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir, your name?
My name is Methodian.
Your radio, can you lower the volume on your radio?
Yeah, I've lowered.
Your name?
My name is Methodian. And my concern is that whereas our sister there, who is a Muslim, is vehemently clearing the air for the Muslims. Our sister who is a Christian is actually saying that the marriage law should be managed by the state. If it is a state law, let it be managed, let it handle all religions, but not separating religions. And then you say that one can be handled by the state, and then the other is handled by the religion itself. I think it's disrespect to other religions if you do that.
Spectrum, hello? Hello, your name?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Your name?
Charles Passos from Nansala. I'm very happy you brought those people, but Mr. Langa, my appeal is try to be realistic with what is going on with the times. We need a few things to change. Secondly, I think cohabitation should be added on. If I'm cohabiting with somebody and we get a child, we must be deemed married. Because a woman getting a child for a man is a very high cost. So if the child is there, even if we have not gone to the parents, to the registrar, the church, the law should be mass marriage. And therefore there shouldn't be something to do with, okay, you brought children into the world, but you are not married.
All right. Okay, Spectrum, hello? Yes, sir, your name?
Dr. Bedbonica is my name.
Doctor, yes?
I want to appreciate the panel in the studio. I want to make my comment on, I don't know the name of the lady. I just found the program on the way.
Go on.
But whoever has made a comment on the born-again community, we should understand, first of all, that it's only the born-again community in this country which does not have a law that governs marriage. All the other religions in this country got an opportunity and laws were enacted apart from the born-again community. It is also not true that the born-again, because the way she's presenting the issues of the born-again, she must be aware, because she sounds that she comes from the registrar of marriages, she must be aware that the born-agains have the highest number of registered marriages in this country than any other religion. When she's deliberating, I think she must be mindful about that. What I want to request government and the department, the registrar of marriages, is important for them to understand the dynamics that govern the born-again community and help them, help the pastor. Don't ridicule the way you are talking about when people wake up one day and then they are pastors. It is no longer like that.
Thank you. Spectrum, hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir, your name?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Mr. Chinimba from Bukoto. And I'd like to say thank you very much for the topic. I've always had great concern about that.
Can I hear you? Can you speak out louder, sir?
Okay, I've had great concern about that bill. First, I'd like to say that the state, I think, has nothing to do but create laws that govern the way we live, the way the state knows. The state is not a religion. The state some states can take on religious views, but the state needs to control the way people do things. But the way marriage is worked out comes from the home and from the religion that the different people believe in. And I think the priests and the parents need to do a little more work. I think we're losing something in our homes, and we're losing something at the church or out there at a mosque level.
All right.
So that when our children get into marriage, they actually believe in it and want to stick to it, despite what the state thinks. I think what I'm taught at home is above what the state is planning. If I am a serious person, I should be above the state.
All right.
I think there's a scripture in the Bible which says there's no law against love.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's hear from our final caller tonight. Spectrum, hello?
Yes. This is James from Mutungo.
James, yes?
I disagree with the deeming of marriage. You don't deem people married. You're either married or not married. You don't deem, I deem Kizito to be a woman. You don't deem marriage. You're either married. If you want to marry, you marry. If you don't want it, you're not married.
All right.
It's not something you deem Busoga to be one regional government.
All right.
That was not what it wants.
Okay. James, thank you very, very much for that. Mr. Langa.
Yes, let me begin with Charles, who is saying that let us be realistic, cohabiting, and so on. Charles, it is because of this kind of thing, that's why society is going down the drain.
Yes.
Society, stable society, is supposed to be a society that is based on marriage. Strong marriages are what makes a strong society. Fake or weak marriages is equal to fake and weak community. So Charles, be man enough. Let men be men. You see, if men, begin to shy away from responsibility and cannot be bold enough to come in public and take responsibility of a woman, you are not a real man. Yes. So let men be men.
So even if it means a man being married by a woman who's richer, she's got a building in Kampala.
Let it be.
No, yeah. If there's consent, by the way, it doesn't mean that the man
has to be richer.
Yeah. You see, between the two of them, as long as they agree, because it is our money. Yes, because when we go before, like for us in the Christian faith, you go and you say, all that I have.
And all that I am.
Yes, I give to you. And the other person also. So we own these things, in common.
Together.
Yeah, together.
So as soon as you marry her, if she was rich and you are poor, you're already one and all. Let's hear from you, Madam Biwaga. You heard from the callers.
Thank you.
Leave no gray area. Either you're married or not, no cohabitation.
True, we agree with that. Either you're married or you're not. And that's why this bill does not recognize cohabitation as a form of marriage.
Yes.
You're either married or you're not. But we are looking at the property. This bill, in relation to cohabitation, looks at the property. It's, for example, I'm wondering what example I should give. Where you're two people and you contributed to buy a piece of land, why should I be cheated out of my share that I contributed?
Right.
Because sincerely, after 40 years of cohabitation, I have invested all my earnings and or energy into the properties we have accumulated together, and I walk away. Where should I begin from? How do I start? That is what we are concerned about. But we do not say that a sort of marriage that because you have lived together, we recognize, yes, children. By the time someone accepts to have a child with you, there is an intention of having that permanent connection with you. But we do not want to tag children to the marriage. That is why we no longer have illegitimate children. Children are children.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are not proposing that a sort of marriage or let that property be compensated for the marriage. No. When we are looking at the dissolution of this relationship, a cohabitation relationship, we are not saying that you people were married, oh, this is matrimonial property. And even that property will not be regarded as matrimonial property. Those who are legally married under the recognized forms of marriages, that will be matrimonial property. But here we are looking at the property accumulated together while these two people were living together.
Yes. All right, Madam Chileru.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to apologize for any born-again Christian whom I offended. I did not do it intentionally. But I was just giving an example of the weakness of the human being. They are fraudsters. They are people who pass out as pastors, who pass out for basically, I'm not saying only pastors, there are so many sects, there are so many other religions where people pass out as conmen, and their intention is really to get money. So they realize that, oh, in registering a marriage, or because there's some, it depends on each church, you have to pay a certain fee, but people are poor, so someone will come up, oh, I've formed a church and all that, and he uses it as a means to get some earning. So because he realizes, oh, if I start having celebrating marriages in my church, I'll earn something. So they go on their way. It's more of a business line. So that is what I was trying to bring out, that why the state is saying we need to license these places is to prevent people from such fraudsters. Yes. Not really that, oh, we are going to the born again Christian or the Catholic system. As I said earlier on, they have their internal administration structures, and they present those structures or their hierarchy of this is the lead of the church and all that to the registrar, and then the registrar will recognize those people as the people who should celebrate the marriage. So that is the line I was taking. Secondly, about the Islamic faith, it's really about having principles. There's this really believe that is, for example, we're saying that let the Holy Bible, actually even Doctor mentioned it, the born again community has the largest number of registered marriages. However, the state has nothing to do with religion. That was, I think, this gentleman from Bukoto. It's the same thing as that's what the Muslims are maintaining. The state has no authority over the Muslim faith. However, as I said, their practices, for example, they have changed. The Quran might say once you've attained puberty, you can marry. However, it is saying, but there is a constitution. So it's out of practice. That's why people are adopting. That's why the Muslims are also adopting those issues. Now, on the issue of this gentleman Methodist, I totally agree with Mr. Langa. If you have decided to live with a woman, you have decided, I'm going to get married. There are some circumstances where we women are also not fair. We demand for exorbitant number of cows. We demand for houses as gifts. Now this bill, you
can't take a house to your introduction.
But it has to be in place. It might be in place. The last title has to be my name. So we are looking, the current marriage and divorce bill is saying marital gifts are not a must in this marriage.
We have to go. Thank you very much indeed, dear guests. Miss Stella Biwaga, Program Officer at FIDA Uganda, thank you for coming on Spectrum tonight.
Thank you, Edmond.
Mr. Stephen Langa, Executive Director of the Family Life Network, thank you for coming tonight, sir.
Welcome.
Mrs. Berna Bakidde, Legal Officer at the Legal Aid Services Providers Network, thank you for coming to Spectrum.
Thank you, Mr. Edmond.
Thank you very much indeed for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond Kizito. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next, though, is the news in the English language. Do stay tuned.
Many have attempted to navigate the sensual waters of jazz and soul, but few have managed to truly make the genre their own. Fewer still have succeeded in going beyond the ordinary and gaining international acclaim, captivating their audience, taking them on trips, journeys of nostalgia, and leaving them looking forward to more. Join Gerald Albright and Howard Hewitt together with a host of jazz and soul maestros for the annual Nile Gold Jazz Safari on Friday the 7th of October, 6 p.m. in Pala Serena Hotel. Come on a journey into the heart of soul. The Nile Gold Jazz Safari, a tribute to the legends of soul. Brought to you by Nile Gold.